Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. I'm here with Grace today to talk about our Community Healing Hearts Hub and the exciting things that we have, under the surface and getting ready to bloom for you. So we're excited to let you know what we're bringing into the community.
Yay! I'm so happy to be here. Emily and I have met on Substack, but we have been growing for the past months, like more than half a year now. And yeah, we're here today to also encourage you and the power of connection, the power of community healing, and what that even can bring for you. Because I can speak for myself, but probably both of us, that loneliness is horrible. And the more people are suffering from loneliness, I think the more confused we get with about what it actually is. And I can definitely say it's just a disconnect. It's a calling from your soul to reconnect in the simplest terms. Loneliness is just the feeling that you're not in sync with your soul and you just want to realign. And it's this yearning, it's this calling that you shouldn't ignore and not fester in like a lot of people do. And then it leads to mental health issues, but rather use it as a tool to reach out to people, to reach out to others, because there's so many people on Substack, for example, that know what you're going through, right, Emily? And it's like, oh, I feel seen, I feel heard. And then your loneliness will dissipate and you will feel connected and elevated and inspired and creative. And that's why we're here today to share a bit about Healing Hearts Hub, how our community is inviting those sparks of inspiration for a high vibration, and a bit about our new workshop that will be landing in September. That is an invitation for you guys on Substack to find out what it actually takes to write and go through all the process of writing and publishing your own book. Emily and I have both done this. As indie authors, we can guide you and share with you all of our little tips. But it's just more than that, isn't it? It's about being hand in hand in situations that just makes everything so much better.
Yeah, and as you were talking, Grace, I was thinking that especially like right now, the world is going through so much change and loss is built into change and loneliness, I think, comes hand in hand with that. So especially right now, finding people that you resonate with can feel like a life raft. And I think that we've seen that already in Healing Hearts Hub with a few of our founding members. We've had people come in who, you know, were really, really struggling. And after a couple of months of, that consistency of showing up and just letting yourself be seen in the position you're in, it really offers a safe space to grow, even during times that we feel like maybe we can't.
Yeah, that's such a good point. If you're thinking of the same member as I am, and they were going through a really tough time in their life, and then for them to say that we're like their family, that just like wow, that reaffirmed my every kind of mission in creating a community for people. Because like you say, it's like I think you don't really know how much you need something until you're part of something. And something that you also said is so true. Consistency is something that I would say the majority, if not everyone, struggles with the most, right? Like, can I say that? Because it is. It's like,
Yeah, I
it's
think
everything.
like statistically it takes like about a month for a routine to become like an ingrained habit. So sticking to them is a really difficult challenge that I think everyone faces.
Right. And now, like, more than ever, because we have so many distractions, like, there are, there's not enough distractions for us to like, I mean, you just think to yourself, like, everything that you can do, or you could do, or you should be doing. And then there's your phone and social media. And then you can waste like 5 hours on your phone or whatnot. And then what have you done to top up your own battery? Nothing, right? And I think what I also want to share today, specifically about Healing Hearts Hub, is that we're not asking you to come on daily with us for an hour. We're asking you to also come on daily just for even a few minutes. It's like a how I like to see it now, right? I don't know if you feel this way too, Emily. It's really like a journal, like a community journal. Maybe we could even call it that. Because it's like a place where you come in to every day to just check in and journal and be intentional. And through this intentional way of living, you grow exponentially. And it's not just on your own, so it's with others. And, you know, we obviously grow more when we find that others are being more vulnerable, more open, um, invite us to feel seen and heard more. And I think that's really the biggest thing for me, Emily, that I've noticed. Like that is magic. That we can make a space with people, which strangers, like we were strangers from all around the world. And then after a few months, you feel like you know each other because, right? Like it's just, wow. Like I
Yeah,
think,
that is definitely my favorite part. Even, like, the daily check-ins, like, h the hub is the place I go first thing in the morning. Like, I, like everyone else, wake up and pick up my phone, like, not gonna lie. But the first place I do go is to Healing Hearts Hub because I know that that is the intentional start to my day, because since you live, across the pond, it's waiting for me when I wake up. So so I'll go in, and it's like mini goal Monday, and it's like, what do I really want to work on this week? And then midweek and the end of the week, there's check-ins so incorporating that little, 5 minutes into the morning routine can really change the whole day and then the whole week. And then, like you said, a few months pass and you look back and you're like, how did I get here so fast? Like, alone, this would have taken forever. But I think, there's a motivation that also lives in community and an aspect of accountability that when we share where we are vulnerable, we want to show up better each day or improved each day in that regard. And it helps, because sometimes we go off the map for a week and we'll have members of the community check in like, "Hey, are you okay? I saw you weren't posting," just sending you some love. And even just being thought of in that way, I think is such a unique and special way of being connected with someone, especially across large distances.
so true. Because I guess loneliness really does come from that part of not feeling like you're cared for, or, like, I mean, you get into this kind of drought of poor me, which is really bad. It just pulls you down. Um, and so, like you say, it's nice then when you think to yourself, oh, someone's actually missed my presence. Someone's actually, noticed that I've not been sharing my feedback or my reflections of this week. And yeah, I also like how you say that it's part of your morning routine because that makes me super happy because I think the majority of people do wake up with their phone, let's face it. But are you waking up with your phone intentionally or are you waking up with your phone mindlessly? Like that's the crucial question that can really change your life for the better. Emily and I have both like suffered with like our nervous system, let's say, like telling us it's enough. And so we're really here to like respect and focus on treating our nervous system with love and intention. And that definitely comes with the factor of using your phone intentionally. And so if you have like a community that you can check in with, you're that is like the mindful use of checking in on your phone, right? Like it takes away the mindless scrolling and replaces it with a mindful check-in. And like Emily said, Mondays are um like goal setting, but sometimes I think goal is like also quite icky with us because of the society the standards that we live in. So that's why I like to say it can be anything, like anything that your soul, your intuition, your reflections, or your current situation in your life is calling you. And I really loved that Emily a few months ago was like, this week, I'm not doing anything. And I was like, what? Really cool. And I saw her go through like all of these like phases during the week. 'Cause I remember you just like, oh my gosh, like I'm really feeling the urge to have to do something and the shot coming up. And this was so amazing to like hear like your reflections and how you're going through it. Because I've been through that too, right? And at the end of the day, it makes you notice being a part of a community, especially of like minded souls on their healing journeys, that we're all just mirrors of each other. Right?
That's
Like
so true.
we
And I
are
think,
very different.
as creatives as well, having somebody to bounce your ideas off of or collaborate on a project with, or, it's really hard to bring something that you dream of to life. So, you and I both wrote our books pretty much alone and published them alone. But I think the intention with this next element that we're bringing to the community is that, listen, we've done it, so we're going to help you as best we can because it's doable. It's not easy. I'm not going to lie to you and say it's easy, but we'll show you how we did it.
Exactly. Because I mean, you want to share your story, right? And to enable it to be easier for others. And like you just said, Emily, like as a creator, I think you can just like go through so many like emotional internal battles.
Seriously, these waves are choppy.
Yeah, and that's why it's so good that we have Substack to just like release how we feel, right? Like it's a big deal. And I love that about Substack that we're all just here to be real. Like there's no fluff, there's no icing on the cake. Like it's just, hey, this is me, this is what's going on. And that's always been my style in writing. That's why I find it so comforting because I've always just been like, yeah, I'm doing shit or whatever, and this is how I'm doing it. And it's led me to become so emotionally intelligent and aware and mature, which I was very reflected on in my past relationship. I think that just like factor of noticing and saying how you feel is the biggest part, like the biggest stepping stone in like then, taking the other steps. And that's why Emily and I are here to offer you to be part of Healing Hearts of Community because it's like an added extra of Substack. We're only inviting in now people from Substack because we want like the creators, the writers. We want to share all of our work. So we've just introduced Transformation Tuesday, right, Emily?
Yep.
Where we share our articles so that we can get to know each other on a deep level and support each other.
Yeah, and I also think, having a safe space to share your more vulnerable works can be like a conduit for courage to even, bring it back to Substack, put it out for a larger audience. Like, it's in a way like a safe wading pool for creativity as well, because no idea is a bad idea, but a lot of times our ideas need to be fine-tuned. So it's like, hmm, it's really like a blessing to have a sounding board when you're
Ooh,
feeling an urge or a motivation that you just can't quite nail down on your own.
that's such a nice way of putting it. I didn't even think of it like that. You see, this is why we need each other because we like are reminded of things that we don't like think of straight away. And I like that you say a sounding board because it's true. When you write an article or you write a newsletter or you write a note, you write something, you're writing it from your soul, right? And a lot of the time I notice with new writers, I'm not a new writer. I've been writing for the past decade. And so I don't have any filter. I was saying this to Emily before, like I really just don't give a shit. But it's taken me time to get here, right? And I really notice now with people, it's like, oh, should I? And you question yourself. Will people even read this? Will I even get engagement? And then when I don't, oh, that's so embarrassing. I tell you what, it's not, firstly. Like everything you write is for a reason, and that reason is good enough if that's good enough for you. And people, no matter what you think or what your mind is telling you to think, someone will resonate with your words. Like we're human beings. Like we're here to understand each other. And that's also like a part of Healing Hearts Hub, like added extra, is that we're here to encourage you to write those vulnerable pieces, to find the courage to talk about your childhood or your trauma, like Emily did in this podcast the other day. And I was like, wow, that gave you the courage, like, you know, all of these months. And like, I was just so proud of you to also hear that podcast. I was like, wow. And I didn't even know that about you, right? It takes time. And when you know that you're in a safe space, which can also take time to feel comfortable in, that's absolutely fine. You're more encouraged to share your truth. And that's really what you need to do, like share your truth.
Absolutely. And, I think we both share the value that everybody has a story that matters. And I think one thing we have been seeing in the community as we're getting more members in from Substack is that although everybody's story is not completely the same, there are common threads that we all share. So those emotions that we have or feel so alone in, when you find somebody else who like resonates with that, it's like, where have you been my whole life? And that's a really special thing that comes, I think, only in a like curated community.
Oh, that's such a good point. And I think more people crave that now more than anything. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Definitely. And you know what, Grace? That was me a year ago. I remember last year I was journaling, praying for community, you know? And, prayers don't always happen overnight, but it came at the right time when I needed it, when I was ready for it, like the way everything does. Um, but yeah, I think that especially creatives or deep thinkers or more sensitive people really, really crave that level of connection.
yeah, because it's just so hard to carry it all alone. It's heavy. Like your load can be heavy to carry alone, and you're not meant to carry it alone. Like we are social beings, This month, in my newsletter, Emily wrote a really good article, wasn't it? Was it last week or the week before? 2 weeks ago? When you wrote the 3 pillars of connection. And one of the pillars that you mentioned was vulnerability. And I was like, it's so true because when you feel so much, like as an empath myself too, and a sensitive soul, I've always been told I'm too much. I've always been told, like, oh, stop being dramatic or shit like that. And I'm like, no. Like, now is my time where I'm like, hey, I'm not too much. I never was too much. I was just maybe not um that person, whoever it was, couldn't handle me because they weren't in my energy field, or we interpret everything differently, and like that's taken me a while to also accept that I'm not too much. And when you're part of like a curated community, like Emily said, you feel the opposite. You feel like, oh, I'm just enough as I am because everyone else has these feelings too, or if it's not necessarily the same experience, like you said, I really like, is it's similar emotions because we're all human beings. We all go through the same emotions, right? So
Yeah, it's super validating, I think is a good
validating.
word for it. Even the podcast I did for Win the Night, I met Josh through the community as well. And I think it's just an outlet where, vulnerability is scary. Let's just start there because, we have a legitimate fear of being rejected if we show ourselves for who we really are.
Mhm.
And especially, in an age where we are putting ourselves out there through our phones or through a screen or, words of some kind, it can feel like, one or two bad comments can determine who you are. So I think, having a community to go back to after something like that happens, because it does happen, it kind of grounds you and reminds you of your why as well. Because as we grow, I mean, not everybody is going to align with us. And that's okay. But that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt our feelings sometimes.
Yeah, it's a very crucial point that you raised because I think nowadays more than ever, it's like toxic friendships, toxic relationships, toxic this and that. And then you have a friend and then they're gone. And I think we're just more because of the rhythm of life, because it's such a rapid rhythm of life. And like you were saying before, change is constant. And the best way to actually navigate change is in the community, by the way. So because you're always with this rapid movement and then friends go by and then person go, it's like community that you can have as a basis, a foundation to always turn to no matter what. I mean, that is something that can really ground you because a lot of people aren't grounded. Let's face it, a lot of people are just living on standby, as I say. People just live day by day and they're complaining and their energy that drags everyone else around them down because it's just easier to do, but not you, not us. When you're really dedicated to your own healing, to your own happiness, to your own health, that comes hand in hand with doing it with others together because the more you rise on your own, the more you lift others up at the same time. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about community.
I agree. I think that's very well said. Mm. I
Thank you.
had something else in mind, but it just left as you were saying
I could tell.
what you were saying.
I was
I,
like
felt
waiting for
it
the
leave the station.
I love
It's
it.
like,
It's so
"Okay, see you
funny.
later."
Like it's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, I got it back. We restructured the, um the trial period.
Yes.
Do you wanna talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks, Cheryl, for being here. And I love that you should just said that. People exist. Too many don't actually live. It's so true. The majority of people just exist. The minority of people choose to live. And we are those people. So if you are also one of those people that just, want to intentionally grow, intentionally glow, and because you deserve to, right? Then that's why Healing Hearts Hub is waiting for you. So what Emily just said is basically we've been inviting everyone in quite freely the past few months. Like, you have your first 3-month trial, but we've noticed through that, as we mentioned before, all of us struggle with consistency and habit building. Let's just face it, especially now more than ever. So we're now doing it for only 15 days free trial because then it really gives you a good 2 weeks to actually intentionally make time, show up, and even if that is just a few minutes a day, and you will notice, and we promise you this now, like we've seen it in others, that you will already feel that natural intrinsic motivation arise after the first week if you stick to the daily check-ins and to yourself, right? It's not always about me when I've invited people in, I'm sorry. And I'm like, you don't need to say sorry to me. Like, this is for you. Right? It's like, if you're ready to actually find healthy habits that are going to stick, you know, that are going to stop your limiting beliefs come up, or like Emily and I were talking before, those moments when fear comes up, because we're only human, right? But then you're like, oh, hey, fear, not you again. And you can handle it like that within a minute rather than spending then 2 hours trapped into limiting beliefs. Like it really be like that. And so that's also why we're here to stimulate that positive attribution of speaking kindly to yourself. Because at the core of everything, it comes down to self compassion. And in a community, you can raise that compassion within one another.
Yeah, and I think another reason that, this is beneficial is that it keeps, um, a really tight, active community as well. So, um, you pretty much can expect to have a level of engagement every single day with the members and, the type of members who are in. So I think across, all of our time zones, there is always somebody on the hub, which I think is really, really cool. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well.
No, that's such a good point. Especially like you say that you wake up to my message. We are kind of all dotted around the world. And that's the most beautiful thing as well, because you just get these snippets of people's lives, which you probably wouldn't anywhere else. Like a Substack, of course, because we share a lot on Substack. But this is like a deeper kind of insight into your personal daily tribulations or situations. And for me, that's been so interesting to just like, oh, that's what they're doing and that's how they're coping, or this is how I'm inviting them to reflect on it, like sharing perspectives, right? It's so special in that sense. Um,
Yes, I'm so excited for when, our creative workshop launches as well, because I think a lot of people from Substack are going to get a lot out of it. There's so many writers on here who, are looking, to get published or publish themselves, and I just got done with the process, so, it is a mess, I get it. Um, so in the fall, after our Grace gets settled in her new home, we are going to roll that out as we all cozy in again for the fall and winter months, and we'll put our energy into that.
yeah, it's an opportunity for you to join us in sharing our own experience. Because, like Emily just said, I can only reflect back. It took me years. Like, I had my book on the back burner for years because of limiting beliefs, because of not having enough time and all these excuses. And we're basically going to bring you it's going to be like a 4-week workshop where we're inviting you to ask yourself what your why is, what your idea is, how you embrace your idea, and take you through the process of like structure and writing and discipline that, obviously has a massive part of writing your book and getting it done. And then also derailing your imposter syndrome. So a lot of mindset work comes into writing and showing up. Because, like Emily said before, vulnerability is super scary. But when you crack into it, when you decode your conditioning, you're just on fire, right? And then obviously the process of them publishing yourself. So this is especially, a workshop that we want to share for our Substack community and bring you into our Healing Hearts Hub community and see you grow too, because I love seeing others grow, like from sharing my own experience. I mean, that's the whole point we're here, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, a couple weeks ago, we put up a member publications page, which is like a master list of everybody's published works, which is so fun to see growing. So I cannot wait until there's just like a whole page we can scroll through of everybody's self-published works.
Yeah. So true. Because, yeah, I mean, it's really at the end of the day, isn't it? Like, you've done something, but the biggest part of it is sharing.
Yeah.
Like, the biggest part is writing, but it's not. The biggest part is the point where you share it with the world and you have to network, you have to connect, because no one is just going to buy a book. Like, I'm sorry. You have to connect with people, you have to get it out there. And that's like the part where community comes into it, right? Like, you can't just heal on your own. You have to get to a point, like Emily was saying before, where you're ready. You're ready to realize your potential, you're ready to share your trauma or your scary stories that have happened to you so that you can invite in more healing. And we don't want to push you or force you. We just want to remind you that you are ready. It's just about leaning into that readiness more than the scared scaredness. Is scaredness a word? Yeah.
Here.
It is now. Anyway, my dears, thank you for joining us today. Um, Emily and I will be popping up every now and then again to invite you into our community and also just share the fact that you aren't alone. If you are feeling alone right now, it's okay. Just know that it's a phase. I think for me that was probably the most comforting thing. I don't know about you, Emily, but for me it was like this is only a phase, and that would really help me because sometimes when you're feeling like a lot of like overwhelm and all of that, it can feel like this is going to be forever. But then when you really like release into the factor of like, this is just a phase and ask like, what am I learning in this? Then it's comforting. What would be your most comforting thing in those times of down?
Yeah, I like the analogy of waves. These big feelings, events coming in
Yeah.
waves because they can hit so hard. And they're powerful. But, water also has this really sacred knowing nature about it. So if you uh learn to surrender, then I
Yeah.
think that's where, like, the real beauty exists. And that's, where even, I don't think it's a destination. I think even personally, you gotta find it every single day.
It's so true. It's a daily duty, right? It's a daily duty to find your happiness, to be the creator of your life. And I love that word. Emily and I came up with that word in one of our journaling workshops, which is also an added bonus in our community. We do monthly journaling workshops. And I think that was our word for July. No, for June, wasn't it? Surrender.
Yes.
Yes. And I remember
Surrender
we
was June.
and we were like, oh, surrender. Because without surrender, nothing can flourish. Like it's a whole part of
Yeah,
the process.
because we can't control it all.
No.
And,
Mm.
that's a lesson that I'm still stumbling through is like, you can't control it all, Emily. You gotta let it go. And you know what? Learning to surrender little by little feels so good. It's like, you know what? I This is clearly out of my hands. Like, why am I gonna sit and stress about it? Have I done my best? Yes. Can I do any more right now? No. All right then. So it is.
That's such a good summary of life. Like those little check-ins with yourself. Because there's no point in worrying. Like I know it sounds so stupid sometimes, but like really letting go of worry and surrendering to the flow, the waves of emotions, the waves of life and all its commotions, it brings you this peace. And that's the peace that we are curating and nurturing in Healing Hearts Up. So thank you for joining us today into getting to know a bit more about our community, what we're up to behind the scenes, and why you want to join us. Reach out to us anytime and we will gladly invite you in there. It's only the beginning of something beautiful. We're flourishing now, and as every phase, the seeds and all of that, we are watering them and we water together so that we grow better together. And yeah, I'm just so glad that we're on this journey together, Emily. And thank you for joining us here today.
Me too. Thank you so much, guys. Reach out to either one of us if you want a trial into Healing Hearts Hub, and we hope to see you there. Have a good day.
Bye.